Hey everybody, this is Brad from Johnson Small Engines, better known as the one-hand mechanic. If I can do it, you can too. Today we are working on a Craftsman rear engine rider. This is the model R110, and it came in for a no start condition. And I know you guys are normally used to seeing machines in very clean condition. Unfortunately, this person wants it back ASAP, and he just wants me to figure out why it will not start. So you guys are going to go through it with me, and I tried to clean up the areas that we're going to be looking at. But the first thing you want to do is I always, no matter whose machine it is, I make sure I check the oil before I do anything, because you don't want to start up a machine if it doesn't have any oil. And also it can tell you if you have fuel in the oil, which could be another reason why it won't start. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just clean it off, put it back in again. Well, this one already has a problem. It's actually way high. Now, if it's high, the first thing I want to do is I want to smell and feel the consistency. That's definitely oil, and it does not smell like gas. So this person just overfilled it. We're going to have to deal with that after we figure out why it won't start. It's if it was any higher than that, I would definitely take it down to the normal level, but you know, you don't want to run it that way. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the park position, which means put your emergency brake on all the way down, and then we have the park levers over here. When the machine is in park, you should be able to start the machine up, and as long as the mower deck is not engaged, and as long as you're in neutral, which we are, mower deck here, handle's a little bit floppy, but just make sure it's all the way in a disengaged position. Make sure you're in neutral, make sure your parking brake is on. And we're gonna go ahead and try to crank it. We don't have to be sitting on it. It does absolutely nothing. I also wanted to point out, if the machine doesn't start when you put a brand new battery in, you make sure everything's tight and everything's clean, there is a fuse under here that you can check, all right? And you just have to flip this little tab, pull this fuse out, and you can check the fuse with that meter, with the ohm meter, and you can check it, or you can even see inside if it's cracked. Now, normally these fuses don't go bad. There is another video I have on a no start condition with this rider, and it is a safety switch. I'll put that in the link in the description below. If you guys got a new battery in, you check your fuse, it's good, and it still won't start, it could be a very simple safety switch that is very easily not seen. I will put that in the link in the description below. All right, let's go ahead and check the battery for voltage. I'm going to show you some of the tools that we're going to use today. You're definitely going to need a flashlight to get under here where the battery is. This is where the battery is located, and it's not real easy to take off this cowling. In fact, a lot of people think this will just pop up, but there's actually 2 screws that hold this down, and if you're not careful, you can break it, as this person did already. So if you're going to pop this up, you have 2 screws under here that you have to take off. But that's not going to help us with the start condition, because we want to get to the battery, which is here. And just so you know, in case we do need batteries and you do look for a battery, take the battery with you before you purchase one. And as you can see, there's 2 different batteries, but they look alike, other than we have the positives are on different sides. So this is the right-hand positive, which means that when the terminals are closest to your body, you have a right and left positive. This one's right. This one here is they call an L, which is the left. That's why they call it a 10U1L and a 10U1R. And I always sell a 300 cold cranking amp battery. In my opinion, anything under 300 cold cranking amps is a cheaper version of the battery, and it may not last as long, and it will not have as much cold cranking amp. So 300 or above, in my opinion, is a good battery. And then I have some tools here that if you're going to diagnose this on your own, it's nice to have a 12-volt light, which is real easy to use. I'll show you. Basically, you ground out your terminal, put your positive, that shows a nice bright light. And then we have here this is your typical meter, and it has AC and DC, and this one actually does have a battery load test on it. I honestly don't trust this. This is what they call a load tester, and how these load testers work, and I don't expect everybody to go out and buy one, but put your negative and your positive. It's showing in the green, it's showing between 12 and 14 volts, and it should stay in this green mark right here when I hit this load test button right here. So we're going to go ahead and hit that, and it's staying in between. It's right there, 11. And that'll tell you that you have a good battery or not. That's what they call a load tester. I don't expect you guys to go out and buy this. You can go ahead and get yourself a meter just to tell you how many volts are on the battery, and I would have to say anything less than 12 volts on the battery, you're going to have to slow charge it or try to jump start it to see if it is the battery. I'm going to go ahead and check the voltage right now. We're going to put our meter on DC. And we'll check a good battery just to see what we have here. And this has just been load tested too, so it's going to have a little draw on the battery. Okay, so that's at 12.46 volts. Let's go over to our battery here. I'm going to put the positive on positive. Negative. Okay, showing 8.25 volts. 8.25 volts is definitely a weaker battery, and I'm going to assume that this is the issue. To confirm that, we can try using a jumper box, or you can even use a battery charger sometimes to see if you can get this thing to turn over. Okay, so I did get away from the real big jumper packs because I was not impressed with my last jumper pack. It didn't last that long. So I'm going to, this is a lithium battery, 1000 peak jumper starter. And yeah, I've been pretty impressed. It says right here where you put your engine start, and that would be, take this guy out. It's pretty self-explanatory. Plug it in. After you see the flashing green light, that means your jumper pack battery is in good condition, and then you connect it to the battery and it should show a full green and you're good to go. Positive first. Now it did stop flashing, which means that the power should be to the machine now. Let's go ahead and see if it'll start. Well, there you go. We definitely know it's a dead battery. All right, so that was it, and this thing cranked it right up. Now I'm going to go ahead and try and start it, and we're going to disconnect this. So when it's flashing, this actually does not put power to this until it's connected. So that's a good thing. I'm going to disconnect this here. I'm going to go ahead and try it again. Now, because this battery got a little bit of juice from the jumper pack, it actually is now trying. So if you get the click that you're hearing right here, that is a dead battery. Or it could be bad connections. Now I did check. You want to make sure you check your battery connections. Now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to remove this without taking this cover off. It would be nice to take the cover off, and you can do it, but man, it's not for everybody. And so unfortunately, if you own this machine, you got to deal with what they give you. There is a bar right here. Okay, so before I take this bar off, I'm actually going to take off, this should be a 7/16 socket or wrench, and they have big heads in the back here. I'm thinking that they're using carriage style bolt to go through here to hold this, because unless you put a wrench back here, and you can't get a wrench back there easily, we're going to try just taking this off here. Okay, it did spin back here, but I was able to get it to start. Just going to take this off. Always remove your negative first. Get this out of the way because we're going to need all the room we can get. And yeah, so it's a carriage style bolt. It's supposed to stay. Now actually the battery doesn't have a carriage style. Let's look at our new battery over here. They used to have square slots in the batteries, and now they've gotten away from it. Well, that's ridiculous, but okay. Now we're going to go ahead, and this one here should be a 1/2 inch socket, and I'm using about a 6-inch extension to get in here. And this one, it's on there. Be careful, if it drops, you're going to have to locate it. A magnet would do real well right now. Oop. Got it. Take this bar out. Okay, just sits like that. All right. Now we can move the battery, but the positive down here only has like a 3-inch positive cord that goes up into the starter solenoid. This is the starter solenoid right here, so if you guys are wondering where it's at, it's right there. So what I'm going to try to do is take off this nut right here. Should be a 7/16 socket. And if you have any questions or doubts that it may not come off, then I would highly suggest using like a PB blaster. Soak it for a bit, but that one came right off. Take this off of here. Now there is a smaller wire connected to it. I didn't see that. So I was going to try to get the battery out from this location so we can get in there a little bit easier. And we have these bars that hold it in right here. So you have to pull it up, and you have a throttle cable in the way, so everything's fighting us. All right, so I got it slanted just enough that I can get in here and get this guy out. And that should also be a 7/16. Okay. All right. Well, this one here is dated 8/20, and this day today is it's May 2025. I give battery life 3 to 5 years. Clean off this battery here, we can find out. At least they marked it nicely for you, so when you go buy a new one, you just rub off. If you have any sticker left, this is a U1R, so this is a right-hand positive, and it's 230 cold cranking amps. 3 years, if you don't take care of them in the wintertime, you can get up to 5 years plus if you're slow charging them or keeping the battery charged. If the batteries go 100% dead on you and you charge them back up again, they may or may not come back after 2 or 3 charges, so keep that in mind. You can only get so many charges out of these and they don't come back. Now, I do like the fact that they had these bolts, but they're not giving us, used to have them, but these don't anymore. They went round. See, here, it's made for the carriage bolt. This one here is not. Unfortunately, we need this right-hand battery, not the left-hand battery. So we need to use this. But what we're gonna do now is just make sure that your terminal is clean. This one here is very clean. If you need to, use sandpaper, and if there's any rust on these or corrosion, you either have to, if they're really bad corroded, you might have to replace it, but we're gonna go ahead and put that back on. Terminals are facing inside, and that's because there's only short positive. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in how I had it so I can get the positive on. Now before I tighten that up, I'm actually going to put the battery in its spot like so. So then this will be sitting much better position, and I'm going to go ahead and tighten that up. Now this is a locking nut that goes on here, and the terminal does look like it's in good shape. Snug it up. You can also spray some battery protector spray on here and also on your positive of your battery to help corrosion depending on where this is sitting. This person's machine was underneath a tarp out in his backyard. I highly recommend not doing that, but you gotta do what you gotta do if you don't have a place to put it. Go ahead and put the battery hold down on right now. And if you can't reach all the way back in there, then a good idea is to get yourself a piece of paper towel, put it in your socket, put your bolt into your socket nice and snug, and you can just go straight in, screw it in. This got caught behind it a little bit. It's all right. Make sure it's nice and snug. It's not going anywhere. Now we can go ahead and put the ground wire on. Double check to make sure your cables are tight. Now, when you purchase a battery, it usually tells you when the battery was made. This was actually made 1 month ago. All right, so it's a fresh battery, and I always take off. They have a date on here with the numbers, and it is May. So we're going to pop that off, and it's the 25th year. So I'm going to do the 5, and I'll also do the 2, because then you know it was May of 2025. You can check your charging system, make sure your charging system is working, but 99% of the time the charging system is working. You get your meter, you turn it on to 12 volts. You're going to check your battery when it's not running. And it's going to be real hard for me to tell you guys how to do this when it's running because you won't be able to hear me, but Okay, so we have 12.56 volts when it's not running. Now, as soon as you hit crank, it's going to drop the voltage, obviously. And then when it warms up and you're running at like 3/4 speed to full throttle, the charging system will kick in and charge the battery. So if you can't hear me, what I'm going to do is, if I can do this, I'm going to start it up, run it. I'm going to put the terminals back on here, and we're going to look at the meter, and it should either go up to 14 or slowly creep up. Okay, so you saw it go up to 13 volts. It looks like this person may have had some mice in there, so we're going to have to clean that out too, because a lot of stuff came out from underneath the engine. So that pretty much sums up for diagnosing and installing a battery on this Craftsman R110. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, share my channel with your friends, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.